This week, the city targets a tech giant over DIY gun videos.
That gun right there can kill hundreds of people in a minute.
Plus, a bloody brawl breaks out at a boat party. And a deadly crash rocks a Long Island community.
We gotta raise a child that had everything going for it. It's not fair.
Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. Here are the crimes from across the 5 boroughs. We begin this week in the Bronx, where a spike in carjackings has cab drivers and dispatchers on high alert.
Taxi drivers in New York City say they've had it after a string of carjackings and robberies in the Bronx.
Fox 5's Lisa Evers talked to several victims about what they've experienced and how the State Federation of Taxi Drivers is taking action.
Residents of many city neighborhoods depend on radio dispatch car services like High Class for door-to-door service at an affordable price. Many of the drivers live in the communities they serve, but now getting behind the wheel is a high-risk occupation.
Any driver that's active and working, I know exactly where they are.
Chris is a dispatcher at the West Fordham Road High Class location.
Any call they get, it's always a risk.
Driver Bamori Sonogo, a father of 4, says a male-female robbery team stole $135 from him. The male suspect put him in a chokehold from the back seat. Then the woman moved in.
She opened the door, then put it in my hand and my pocket. She then took out my money.
From April 1st to date, 9 carjackings and armed robberies.
The NYPD has confirmed 6 incidents. Chris, the dispatcher, believes the number is higher than 9. Do you believe there's many more than 9 this past month?
Yes, 100%. Again, this is an everyday thing.
He says they have many methods of taking money the drivers worked hard to earn.
It's always a different scenario, a way of definitely stealing from the drivers.
And there's no typical profile of the suspects.
Even elderly, where they definitely will tell the driver, I dropped something, could you help me look for it?
We believe that they take the car and they pick up passengers in the street because the vehicle has TLC plates. And they rob those passengers.
An NYPD task force is investigating these crimes. Fernando Mateo and the New York State Taxi Federation are offering a $7,500 reward for information that leads to arrests.
Down in Lower Manhattan, the DA pointing fingers at Google for playing a part in the city's ghost gun problem.
Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg calling out YouTube, accusing them of playing a key role in the proliferation of ghost guns.
Fox 5's Arthur Chan explains why the DA says certain how-to videos must be taken off their site.
What you see right here is a 3D printed firearm, which we actually printed and we actually test fired.
The NYPD and Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg rolled out a clinic Wednesday showing how easy 3D printing of ghost guns has become. Before last year, the most ghost guns the city pulled off the streets in a year was 4. So far this year, it's already seized 57, and we're just months into the year.
You could see how quick that jump happened.
Bragg and the NYPD say New Yorkers as young as 15 are being lured into printing ghost guns when simply watching clips about video games on YouTube. They say within just a few short clicks and a matter of minutes, YouTube's own algorithm starts introducing them to video tutorials on how to print 3D guns.
About 10 minutes into the searching, you're going to come upon very specific videos to build ghost guns.
They say the videos are so effective that it's deadly.
Leaving, the World Wide Web and hitting the streets of Manhattan. You don't need an MIT engineering degree, right? All you need is a computer and a mouse and an interest in gaming, and you can go from games to guns in 15 minutes.
Initially, when we talked about ghost guns, we were talking about handguns, but law enforcement officials now say they have a new concern. They're seeing the technology being used to print long guns, including weapons like AR-15s.
You're reading that. You're not thinking this is real. That gun right there can kill hundreds of people in a minute.
The district attorney has sent a letter to YouTube and its parent company Google demanding that they take down the thousands of ghost gun tutorials on their platform right now. Google tells Fox 5 its policies prohibit content introducing users to making ghost guns or 3D guns and is reviewing the videos Bragg has shared with them.
And just next door, the New York Court of Appeals hands down a bombshell decision in a defining case of the Me Too movement.
A bombshell ruling from the New York Court of Appeals today overturning Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction.
The court ruling the trial judge improperly allowed testimony against the ex-movie mogul based on allegations that weren't part of the case.
All right, Fox 5's Antoine Lewis covered that trial every day 4 years ago. And Antoine, this came as a surprise to some, not so much to others.
Absolutely, Stephen, and yes, I did, and this was certainly an interesting turn of events. The decision from the state's highest court was 4-3, which clearly states that not all of the justices were in favor of this decision.
This today is an act of institutional betrayal.
Actress Ashley Judd, one of the most vocal Weinstein accusers, mincing no words on today's decision. The New York Court of Appeals overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction, finding egregious improper rulings during the criminal trial by allowing testimony from women who were not part of that case. Judd speaking at a news conference called by anti-sexual violence leaders, again telling her story, which she says happened during a meeting at New York's Peninsula Hotel.
Where Harvey, wearing his hotel robe, immediately began asking if he could give me a massage, and this progressed into him insisting that I watch him take a shower, and other acts of sexual harassment and aggression. I was lucky I got out of that hotel room.
In February of 2020, a New York jury convicted Harvey Weinstein of first-degree criminal sexual act and third-degree rape. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison a month later. Weinstein never testified during the trial, but maintained he was innocent and that any sexual acts were consensual. Attorney Arthur Aidala was part of Weinstein's defense team.
So the Court of Appeals deserves a tremendous amount of credit for doing this, based on the law, not based on opinion polls.
Weinstein's 2020 conviction was heralded as a major victory for the Me Too movement and a rebuke of long-rumored sexual misconduct within the film and television industry. And when asked if the appellate court's ruling was a setback, Me Too's founder says no.
This is not a blow to the movement. It is a clarion call, and we are prepared to answer that call.
Weinstein was convicted of rape in 2022 in California. Attorney Gloria Allred represented accusers in both trials. We asked if she had concerns about the California conviction being overturned, as it's also being appealed.
That case has not yet been heard or decided by our California Supreme Court.
Well, we asked the Manhattan District Attorney's Office if they plan to have a new trial. A spokesperson told us that we will do everything in our power to retry this case and remain steadfast in our commitment to survivors of sexual assault.
Staying in Lower Manhattan, police make a pair of arrests in a series of disturbing crimes targeting women.
Police arrest a man on parole for allegedly raping a woman in Soho. 30-year-old Ella Williams is charged with rape, robbery, stalking, and more. He's accused of following the 23-year-old victim into a building near Thompson and Prince Streets on Sunday. Police say he put her in a chokehold before sexually assaulting her.
And police have arrested the suspect accused of sucker punching 7 women in various locations throughout the city. 31-year-old Daquan Armstead is seen in custody, and this video obtained by the New York Post. He's charged with 7 counts of assault, hate crime, and aggravated harassment. Police say the incidents happened between March 24th and April 17th.
Next, we head to Queens and the scene of a violent robbery aboard the subway in Jamaica.
Police are looking for 2 suspects accused of assaulting and robbing another man on board a subway train in Queens. It happened last Saturday night on board a northbound F train approaching the Hillside Avenue 179th Street station. Police say the victim, 20 years old, approached by 2 suspects, one of whom displayed a knife, the other a pair of pliers. They say the suspects then beat up the victim, stole his cell phone and wallet. Do you have any information who these guys are? If you do, please call Crime Stoppers 1-800-577-TIPS.
Over in Brooklyn, a bloody brawl aboard a party boat sends 3 people to the hospital.
Several people are hospitalized tonight after a fight on a party boat at a Brooklyn pier. Police responded to the Brooklyn Army Terminal in Sunset Park just after 5 tonight. When they got to 58th Street and 1st Avenue, they found 2 men who had been stabbed and a 3rd person who was hit in the head with a bottle. The altercation happened on a boat called Cornucopia Majesty. The victims were taken to the hospital in stable condition. So far, no arrests in that case.
And finally, leaving the city, a suspected drunk driving crash claims the life of a 64-year-old woman on Long Island.
It happened last night in Massapequa, and as Fox 5's Jody Goldberg explains, the suspect was arrested after cops say she fled the scene in the public safety officer's town vehicle.
An emotional scene outside court Wednesday morning after Rachel Odiche pleaded not guilty to charges including vehicular manslaughter and DWI. Nassau County Police say the 21-year-old was going south on Hicksville Road in Massapequa on Tuesday night when she slammed into this Nissan, killing 64-year-old Cynthia Mitchell, identified by loved ones who say she was a mom, churchgoer, and beautiful soul.
We got to raise a child that had everything going for it. It's not fair.
Odiche is also charged with leaving the scene of a deadly accident after driving away in an Oyster Bay public safety car. The officer stopped to help Mitchell after the crash.
He said, "Stay right here. I'm going to go tend to the other victims in the other car."
Now, according to court documents, after the crash, the defendant said she was thirsty. The officer gave her his Gatorade. And within minutes, someone else yelled, "There goes your car," as she drove away.
It was outrageous.
In the surveillance video, you could see Odiche in the stolen car. She drove about 5 miles to Seaford before the town tracked her location.
This technology also allows them to shut off the engine so the car stopped. The culprit couldn't drive it any further.
Odiche, who had slurred speech and bloodshot eyes, according to officers, said, "I'm not supposed to drink with my medicine." A woman who said she's Odiche's future mother-in-law didn't want to go on camera, but says Odiche was visiting from Texas with her son and their child.
She's this kid who had a kid that came up to get married, and this is what happened because she was tired and doesn't know New York.
The passenger in Mitchell's car is expected to survive. Odiche is being held on $500,000 bond. She's due back in court on Friday.
And that's this week's Crime in the City. Subscribe for more at youtube.com/Fox5NY.